Google stopped counting, or at least publicly displaying, the number of pages it indexed in September of '05 after a schoolyard measuring contest with rival Yahoo. That count topped out around 8 billion pages before it was removed from the homepage. News broke recently through various SEO forums that Google had suddenly, over the past few weeks, added another few billion pages to the index. This might sound like a reason for celebration, but this accomplishment would not reflect well on the search engine that achieved it. What had people buzzing was the nature of the fresh, new few billion pages. They were blatant spam, containing pay-per-click PPC, ads scraped content, and they were, in many cases, showing up well in the search results. They pushed out far older, more established sites in doing so. A Google representative responded via forums to the issue by calling it a bad data push, something that met with various groans throughout the SEO community. How did someone manage to dupe Google into indexing so many pages of spam in such a short period of time? I'll provide a high-level overview of the process, but don't get too excited. Like a diagram of a nuclear explosive isn't going to teach you how to make the real thing. You're not going to be able to run off and do it yourself after reading this article. Yet it makes for an interesting tale, one that illustrates the ugly problems cropping up with ever-increasing frequency in the world's most popular search engine. A dark and stormy night. Our story begins deep in the heart of Moldova, sandwiched scenically between Romania and the Ukraine. In between fending off local vampire attacks, an enterprising local had a brilliant idea and ran with it, presumably away from the vampires. His idea was to exploit how Google handled subdomains, and not just a little bit, but in a big way. The heart of the issue is that currently, Google treats subdomains much the same way as it treats full domains, as unique entities. This means it will add the homepage of a subdomain to the index and return, at some point later, to do a deep crawl. Deep crawls are simply the spider following links from the domain's homepage deeper into the site until it finds everything, or gives up, and comes back later for more. Briefly, a subdomain is a third-level domain. You've probably seen them before. They look something like this. Subdomain.domain.com. Wikipedia, for instance, uses them for languages. The English version is n.wikipedia.org. The Dutch version is nl.wikipedia.org. Subdomains are one way to organize large sites, as opposed to multiple directories, or even separate domain names altogether. So we have a kind of page Google will index virtually, no questions asked. It's a wonder no one exploited this situation sooner. Some commentators believe the reason for that may be this quirk was introduced after the recent Big Daddy update. Our Eastern European friend got together some servers, content scrapers, spambits, PPC accounts, and some all-important, very inspired scripts, and mixed them all together thusly. 5 billion served, and counting. First, our hero crafted scripts for his servers that would, when Googlebo dropped by, start generating an essentially endless number of subdomains, all with a single page, containing keyword-rich scraped content, keyworded links, and PPC ads for those keywords. Spambits are sent out to put Googlebo on the scent, via referral and comment spam, to tens of thousands of blogs around the world. The spambits provide the broad setup, and it doesn't take much to get the dominoes to fall. Googlebo finds the spam links, and as is its purpose in life, follows them into the network. Once Googlebo is sent into the web, the scripts running the servers simply keep generating pages page after page, all with a unique subdomain, all with keywords, scraped content, and PPC ads. These pages get indexed, and suddenly you've got yourself a Google index 3 to 5 billion pages heavier in under 3 weeks. Reports indicate, at first, the PPC ads on these pages were from AdSense, Google's own PPC service. The ultimate irony then is Google benefits financially from all the impressions being charged to AdSense users as they appear across these billions of spam pages. The AdSense revenues from this endeavor were the point, after all. Crammed in so many pages that by sheer force of numbers, people would find and click on the ads in those pages, making the spammer a nice profit in a very short amount of time. Billions or millions? What is broken? Word of this achievement spread like wildfire from the Digital Point forums. It spread like wildfire in the SEO community, to be specific. The general public is, as of yet, out of the loop, and will probably remain so. A response by a Google engineer appeared on a ThreadWatch thread about the topic, calling it a bad data push. Basically, the company line was they have not, in fact, added 5 billion pages. Later claims include assurances the issue will be fixed algorithmically. Those following the situation by tracking the known domains the spammer was using see only that Google is removing them from the index manually. The tracking is accomplished using the site command, a command that theoretically displays the total number of index pages from the site you specify after the colon. Google has already admitted there are problems with this command, and 5 billion pages they seem to be claiming is merely another symptom of it. These problems extend beyond merely the site command, but the display of the number of results for many queries, which some feel are highly inaccurate, and in some cases fluctuate wildly. Google admits they have indexed some of these spammy subdomains, but so far haven't provided any alternate numbers to dispute the 3 to 5 billion showed initially via the site command. Over the past week, the number of the spammy domains ampersand subdomains indexed has steadily dwindled as Google personnel remove the listings manually. There's been no official statement that the loophole is closed. This poses the obvious problem that since the way has been shown, there will be a number of copycats rushing to cash in before the algorithm is changed to deal with it. Conclusions. There are, at minimum, two things broken here. The site command and obscure tiny bit of the algorithm that allowed billions or at least millions of spam subdomains into the index. Google's current priority should probably be to close the loophole before they're buried in copycat spammers. The issues surrounding the use or misuse of AdSense are just as troubling for those who might be seeing little return on their advertising budget this month. Do we keep the faith in Google in the face of these events? Most likely, yes. It is not so much whether they deserve that faith, but that most people will never know this happened. Days after the story broke, there's still very little mention in the mainstream press. Some tech sites have mentioned it, but this isn't the kind of story that will end up on the evening news, mostly because the background knowledge required to understand it goes beyond what the average citizen is able to muster. The story will probably end up as an interesting footnote in that most esoteric and neoteric of worlds, SEO history.